But this is the time of year that we want to start pruning back our roses in the wintertime. And the reason why we want to do that, it kind of helps kind of bring in some vigor for them as well, a little bit of shaping, as well as getting some dead wood out of there, and also too some cross branching. Because one thing we want to do on some of these roses, we want this open canopy look in with our roses, meaning that we don't want branches and stuff all down in the center here. And the reason that is that we want to open it up and get some airflow. Because one thing that roses have, unfortunately, they're real susceptible to black spot, which is what you see here. This is some remnants of some black spot that you're seeing. That kind of is a fungus, and that gets on the leaves, real common on them. Some roses are a little more susceptible to it. Some of them are a little bit more tolerant with it. With airflow, it helps dry off the leaves and helps kind of minimize the environment for the black spot to grow. The center here of the plant, we want the plant to grow out, kind of in a bowl or a vase shape. So what I do is, like here, I'm finding a bud and I see one right here, just a little bitty bud right here, not even. So I'm gonna just cut just about a little bit above it. I like to cut a little bit of an angle and about 1/8 of an inch above that bud. Also, we want to take out branches that are in the center of the plant that are crossing each other. That one's a little bit big, so I'm going to use loppers on this one. Okay, and see how we're starting to open it up? So now we're getting this nice open center in here. And see, like this branch right here is coming in the center, so we want to go ahead and take it out. There's another part of the rose maintenance is deadheading. And so probably what we'll do towards the end of October, we start deadheading and let the flowers, just leave them onto the plant, because what it does, we don't want to do any more trimming on there to encourage growth. And so we want them to go into dormancy. I actually don't like that one there. It's crossing. Anyway, we'll go ahead and take that one out. Also, there's questions people may have is also rose rosette, which is a kind of a devastating virus that gets on these roses, and fortunately they get transmitted by insects. And so one thing you want to do, be sure that when you go to rose, you want to be able to clean your tools. Plants in a rose family, you want to trim them with, clean them with alcohol or like a Lysol disinfectant spray, that type of thing. It's just that when you cut down about 1/3, yeah, you kind of get down, it looks a little leafless, but that's typical. And actually this one, I'm surprised how much leaves are on it still, because we had some pretty good, freezing weather this winter. Surprised they still have leaves on it. And see, I'm cutting this one out because it's too close to this one. There'll be, in the wind, there'll be some rubbing and so on. So that's where that one goes out. Got a little fork here, so I have to kind of make a decision on what I want, so I don't cut out some of these forks because it gets kind of a little too. You want a good number of canes coming up. Each of these stems is a cane. We're in the business of producing flowers. We like the flowers. So, and being that this kind of has a bush format, you want several stems. And I'm just sticking my stuff. So now we're going to look at the different woods here. Like you see some old wood right here. And so like we got some crossing coming on right in this area right here that I'm thinking that we need to kind of correct. So we'll take that one out. And also I like to sometimes kind of keep to younger wood, because that's younger wood. It's going to actually have better flowers as opposed to older wood. So if I need to take out crossing branches, I'll try to pick an older cane and take that out. And one thing you see right along here, it looks like it starts like almost turning like to bark, like on a tree. And so where the younger canes are really nice and green, but you start seeing this brown and stuff like that, and that's kind of where the older wood is starting to come in. We have this one here is older wood, but then right underneath it is a younger wood. So probably what I'll do is go ahead and take out the older one out. What we'll do is probably, you can get loppers, you may need a handsaw, things like that, and we start kind of taking out all this, use your bigger equipment, if you will, and just start taking out all the woody stuff. So we'll just go ahead and take that out. And so those are things that you want to go ahead and clean up. It is an avenue for diseases, and things like that to get in, insects, borers, things like that. So you do want to kind of get that off. You want sunshine to go on this here, because sunshine will actually help on encourage more canes to grow out and things like that. And so if you have that dead wood and stuff, it just gets in the way. So you want a good growth, and this will help promote good blooms and, for you to enjoy later this spring. So, and roses, they'll bloom all the way in through the summer. So again, on pruning the roses, just kind of a recap on what we do. We like to, first, we take off about a third to a half off the roses. We want to be sure that we like to do that base shape where we have a little bit of openness in the center of the roses, just to kind of help with that airflow, just to kind of minimize the foliage diseases that we tend to get on roses. And then from there, just be sure that you clean your tools before and after each time you prune roses. Just kind of keep minimizing transferring any of those diseases and things like that. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you're welcome to reach out to the gardens or come out and visit us here on the West Campus here on the Texas A&M University campus.